What I would recommend building for new players, by so far of what I learned from Idle Heroes, is that the best Transcendence to build once you got enough crystals, crystals, crystal of Transcendence, is to build Fairy Queen Vesa. By so far, Vesa seems to be given most of the damage and taunted and everywhere in the game, and is a very good supporter and will help sustain heroes to survive even stronger, even with her good shields that she has. Now let's go to her and show you the reason why she's good. She is good because she actually casts a shield onto. She casts a shield onto all allies with her active skill. So she is completely supporting the whole team that you have on your lineup. And the reason why Fairy Queen Vesa is very good as a first Transcendence is that she will help your team to survive attacks against bosses that deal a lot of damage to your weakest allies and heal them. And with Fairy Queen Vesa as your first Transcendence, she can put on a really strong shield to defend your weak units. So she is a really good ally to helping your teammates survive. And because if you have really weak units that are on your lineups, Fairy Queen Vesa is really very, very, very reliable. That she's actually a very good first Transcendence hero, even with all of the skill sets that she has. Her passive, very good here. Basic attack targets the enemy with the highest attack, which is dealing damage against the enemy that has the most damage, and dealing 1280% of attack damage, and reduces all damage dealt by 24% for 1 round. Then she heals all your allies just like how the normal Vesa does, just heals. It's just the most thing that makes this Transcendence Vesa good is the shields that protect your team. So you technically want a Vesa to protect your team with the shield. But what also makes her really better and make the choice really easier is her Blessing of Purity. Heroes with Blessing of Purity have 80% less chance to take a critical hit. So Blessing of Purity is really OP and really strong, and this is the reason that I'm getting my Vesa. So that every time if all my teams die, or some of my teams die, that Blessing of Purity may always go on to my Eloise. So this is why I'm making the choices of going with Fairy Queen Vesa first, is so that she could defend my Eloise. Or any damage dealers that you guys have that is really good. Fairy Queen Vesa is very good to be the first Transcendence because she will back up your allies from dying. So she's technically like a Bastet from Summoner's War. If you play Summoner's War, she's technically like a Bastet with anti-crit. She's a really OP, and this is such a good unit. And I would recommend this unit to everyone, but there's probably better options, and you can check with other guides. Yeah, you can check with other guides, but I have to say with this first guide for the first good pick for Transcendence, Fairy Queen Vesa is pretty much the best to go for. And overall, She's really OP, and she's very good at defending herself, which she ends up being the last hero alive. So, would I really recommend Vesa Queen? For every new player, she is definitely the best recommended. But the most recommended hero, Transcendence hero to make first is Sword Flash. But if you want Sword Flash first, you have to decide whether or not you want a good supporter or a good damage dealer. So, for me, I'm deciding to go with a supporter because technically, if you have a supporter that defends your whole team, that you can actually do overall damage with your whole team instead of relying on one damage dealer. So that is why I choose Fairy Queen Vesa, and this is why you should go with Fairy Queen Vesa.